we are again. I enjoyed my fish and chips, by the way.
Good, well done.
Did you get any?
Not fish and chips, but I do love fish and chips, I have to say, yeah. So yesterday we were talking about what happened at the cross, and it was a painful, although it's called Good Friday, it was a kind of uncomfortable to think about the pain that Jesus endured there, wasn't it?
And that's right, and I think we ended with just saying about why on earth good?
Yeah.
What was good about Jesus?
Why did he have to endure all that?
All that pain, yeah. So why would you say it was good then? What's good about it?
Doesn't seem good, does it? For me, a good way to start to think about it is to go right back to the Garden of Eden. You know,
I was going to say you like gardens.
I like my gardens, and that kind of demonstrated the plan that God had for how he would relate to people, wasn't it? And we read how Adam and Eve would walk with God the Father in the garden, and everything was perfect. There was nothing, there was no pain, there was no hurt, there was just...
Can you imagine living in that world, no pain, no hurt?
Yeah, and being able to talk to God like we're talking now, you know, amazing. But of course, we know the story, is that man, Adam, we chose to live selfishly. You know, the Bible calls it sin. Let's just say it's selfish living. And
do you think that covers us all? Do you think that we all... I mean, there's some very good people in the world.
But most of the good people that I've met or read about have admitted that they're not perfect, haven't they? You know.
So would that cover you as well, Rog? Just
Right,
for
so,
clarity,
yeah, hands up here. Yeah,
I think we probably all have to fess up to that.
Anyone who knows me will say, that, I can be selfish like anybody else. You know.
So man chose to live selfishly.
So there's a problem. Yeah, we've got that gap then, and the more this carried on, the more distant God seems. And so you've got this kind of divide, haven't you? And
I guess there was that closeness of walking in the garden together, wasn't it? And now a huge divide. No longer could we sit and talk to God like this.
Yeah.
And I think so. So why did Jesus dying on the cross? I guess why did that change it? And I think back to a story I once heard about a judge whose best friend came into his court, and he'd been drink driving, or he'd done something, and he was clearly in the wrong. And he didn't want to condemn his friend. He didn't want to punish him. But actually, he'd done wrong, and someone had to pay.
There was a law there, wasn't there?
Yes, someone had to pay for what had gone wrong. So I love listening to that story actually when the judge judged him basically, and he said guilty as charged. Just imagine him now, guilty as charged. And then he gave him a huge fine which he knew he couldn't pay. But what I love is that thought that judge then came down and wrote the check and gave it to him, and that's what I think is a great analogy of what Jesus did on the cross for us. When we read the Bible passages, it says it is finished. Some of Jesus' last words, it is finished, and I think that's what's finished. He finally had come down and paid the price for all of the selfish things that we have done in our lives so that we could.
In work sometimes, in the past when I was passing invoices, I'd have to get a stamp that said paid. That was a lovely moment when you paid that invoice, and that, I guess, is what's happened, isn't it? The price has been paid.
Isn't it funny how we think the hammer and the price, actually it is that stark though, isn't it? It has been paid. Yeah, absolutely. What else kind of stood out to you though is Jesus died.
So it says, doesn't it, that as he dies, he said it's finished. It says that in the temple there was this thick curtain, hugely thick curtain that had been taken. I think it took about 30 people or something to kind of weave this this curtain together. This really, really heavy drape that divided the section of the temple where God's presence was from the people.
So it was a bit of a representation, really, of
divide.
The fact that we could no longer have this conversation with God directly.
And we're told that at that moment when Jesus died, that thick curtain was ripped from top to bottom. And that was just a picture of God saying, look, I'm breaking this divide. It's like he was dying to meet us.
That's brilliant, isn't it? And it came from the top to the bottom, didn't it? That stood out to me as well. So God said, I want this relationship with you. And I guess that's why it was Good Friday, because now it may not physically appear that God is sat here, but actually I can, every day of my life, talk to Jesus and walk with him every step of the way. And
It's amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So that's brilliant. Okay, but it's not over. So we've had some terrible news, but amongst that there was some life-changing good news, and yet we've still got Sunday to come.
And that's tomorrow, isn't
Can
it?
you spare me another
Saturday,
cuppa?
Sunday? Yeah, we'll have another cuppa tomorrow.
Okay, look forward
Brilliant.
to that. Okay.
Yeah. Cheers, Ryan.
See you
Catch you
Sunday.
tomorrow.
Cheers.